Hello, my friends, and welcome to another podcast episode. Thank you for joining me here in this space. This week, we are celebrating World Mental Health Day, a day dedicated to raising awareness around mental health. We all know that mental health can impact any of us, whether you're a man, a woman, or a child or teenager. And irregardless of your gender, irregardless of your work, and also regardless of where do you live around the world. But today, I want to change the focus of talking about mental health, and I want to focus on the unique mental health challenges faced by female small business owners. This topic is very close to my heart, and if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me talk about the challenges that women can face growing and building their own business. But this is such an important topic because it's not just about the business success. You know, when you are starting out, trying to grow your business, trying to earn money from it, trying to make an impact within your community and help and support your clients, and trying to look after yourself and your family. This is not just about the business success. This is about overall quality of life. And the mental well-being is such an important part of it, especially for women who juggle so much within their personal lives, within their entrepreneurships, their business side. When we look at the stats tell us a very interesting story that nearly half of all entrepreneurs experience mental health challenges at some point, with women facing additional stress due to gender expectations, the pressure and conditioning within our society, and trying to balance many different commitments and responsibilities, running a home, running a business, supporting clients, supporting loved ones, children, partners, aging parents. Trying to juggle it all can be a real hard work. Maybe you can relate to it. Check in with yourself as I'm talking about the challenges faced by female small business owners. Check in with yourself whether that resonates, whether there is something in here as we are exploring it that maybe will land for you, and maybe you will have some of your own insights. And maybe there are things and tips, or maybe change in focus that can really help you in what, and you can take it from what we are discussing today. I cannot tell you the number of times that over the last 20 years of mentoring and supporting frontline workers, first in social care and then female business owners from my own business, how often the conversation comes to discussing overwhelm or exhaustion, burnout, anxiety, insomnia, or waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, worrying about money, or feelings of isolation. And so this is such an important subject, even when I think about the conversations that I had this week with bumping into a friend who runs a shop, small business owner, with 3 or 4 or even 5 other practitioners in one-to-one sessions, female practitioners who were talking about feeling a bit overwhelmed, feeling different levels of anxiety, worrying about early warning signs and hitting burnout. talking about their past experience of burnout. It's all around us. And for those of us that are trying to grow our business, this is real day-to-day stuff, real stuff. And so within this podcast, I really want to explore it a little bit more. And I want to share some practical tools for you, with you for maintaining mental well-being when running a business. And really share some of those stories that from my life, but also from stories of real women in business and, the things that might help. So I want to start with just simply saying that mental health is not just about the absence of mental illness. Yes, you could be diagnosed with mental illness, and I mean by that, I mean depression or anxiety or OCD or PTSD. That's just one side of it. But when we talk about mental health, we also talk about emotional, psychological, and social well-being that impacts every single part of our life. So within the context of running a business, we talk about decision making, we're talking about creativity, we're talking about solution focused approach, we're talking about quality of connection, we're talking really about resilience. These are all the qualities crucial to running a business. And running your own business, however you call it, whether you are self-employed, whether you run a business, whether you run a company, whether you call yourself an entrepreneur, all of that can really intensify daily stress and mental health struggles. And those struggles can manifest differently in different female business owners. They can manifest as perfectionism. They can manifest as feeling not good enough and being worried about being found out. That classical, what people talk about, the imposter syndrome. It might manifest as feeling guilty about self-care and taking time off. It might manifest as people pleasing. It might manifest with feeling shame about earning money, charging too much money, or not earning money at all, and then having debt, or even having experienced bankruptcy, or not contributing from the business into the running of the household. It can show up in so many different ways. And one of the things that we really need to look at is how challenging it is to really find the balance within your work and personal life, this life-work balance. Even this week, I've had a number of conversations with women, asking, it's like, how is that life-work balance? I had a couple of messages from women saying, oh, yes, I am trying to find the new rhythm, new schedule within my work, but I was supposed to work less, but actually ended up working the whole weekend. And next weekend is busy, and the weekend after is busy. I know how challenging it is. I experience it myself as well. There are some weekends where I deliver the whole of the weekend of training that is part of our trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification. And I so know how difficult it is then to work less or take time off on Monday or Tuesday. So I actually have got a little bit of time off rather than run 2 weeks straight and then having all the other responsibilities of within my home and personal life. This trying of balancing of managing and growing a business and supporting clients, and also handling family responsibilities or caregiving roles can lead to very high stress levels and overwhelm and burnout. And some of us have experienced burnout. Maybe you have experienced burnout. I know I have. I know I've watched my partner experience burnout. I've watched many friends within the social care, but also within running their own businesses. There is a lot of pressure and conditioning coming from our society and the expectation that women can do it all. It's the myth and the promise of capitalism. This promise of if you work hard enough, you can have it all. You can be a successful business owner. You can be a perfect mother. You can be a caretaker. You can look really lovely and relaxed and calm and beautiful as you are doing it all. And that's just a myth of and the promise of capitalism. And I find that from my own experiences that when I was younger, I could do loads more. But as I got older, I just turned 51. I am not able to do it all, at least not the same time. And if I do not pace myself as a woman who's in a full-blown perimenopause, I will pay the price. And that price can be my mental health. It could be also my physical health. But normally it is, for me, the first thing is that mental health where I get really down and I feel despondent. And that's where the imposter syndrome can come up, that imposter part, inner part of me that then starts telling me that I am not good enough because other women out there, especially on social media like Facebook or Instagram, looking very pretty, smiley in their pictures, they doing it all and they can do it. So there is something wrong with me because I feel tired and I haven't slept and I feel exhausted and I feel unmotivated. I can start feeling this sense of not being good enough, those feelings of inadequacy, start doubting my capacity, my skills, my knowledge and experience of working with thousands of clients over the last 25 years. And it can start eroding my self-confidence. And something that I know very intimately, which is anxiety, can just raise. And so being aware of it is so important. Sometimes it's a little bit like, big elephant in the room, that big elephant that is pushing its bottom right into your face. And it really helps to acknowledge it. Actually, growing and building your business, looking after your clients, wearing many different hats, and loving your family and looking after your family and taking care of yourself. It's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. Sometimes just starting by acknowledging it really helps. Really remembering, one of the things that really comes up for me is to really remember this link between mental and physical health. There is no separation between mental and physical health. And this is why in our training, we talk a lot about systems thinking, really understanding that there is no separation. There is this mind-body connection. For me, it goes even beyond that. I talk a lot about the soma, psyche, and soul within the context of life, energy of all of life. When we start looking at our life, at our business, and our relationships, everything that we do, and how we live within the context and the systems, things start changing drastically. Because we know that, mental health challenges can affect physical health. The stress can lead to insomnia, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, worrying about clients, worrying about money, worrying about being able to do it, worrying about not enough work, worrying about too much work. It can lead to headaches. It can lead to muscle tension and pain within the body. It can lead to hormonal imbalances. It can lead to having accidents because we are so tired, we haven't slept. We might not notice something, bump into things, or drop something. And it can lead to other more serious physical health challenges or issues. There is no separation between mental and physical health because we are one big system. And we live within the systems of our life and work and relationships and environment. Everything has an impact on us. And so this is an important thing to start with, to really understand this full picture of the challenges that you've taken on or that you might experience as a female small business owner. So if you are a yoga teacher, if you are a wellness practitioner, massage practitioner, acupuncturist, if you are a coach, if you are a trainer, if you are a female who is self-employed or runs her own business, this is some really important stuff to talk about. So how do we then approach it in a way that supports us? Because the reality of running your own business is that it is stressful, it is very challenging. And not many of us had a lot of business education to actually relate to it in very practical terms. It can feel very emotional, it can feel very draining, it can feel very intense. So what are the kind of tools or practices or strategies that can really help? Well, we have to start always with acknowledging that it starts with us, with the way that we think about and relate to our own self-care. That's the biggest shift when I work with other female practitioners. And this is the stuff that we start with in our training in trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification. In module 1, we set the foundations for you to be able to understand your needs, know how you feel, what's going on for you, understand your needs, and then meet your needs in an empowered way. When you shift from just knowing on a mind level that your self-care is a priority, that everything is built on that, into a real knowing within every single cell of your body, every single cell of your being, something really profound happens. This is what we talk about. This is what we talk about when we talk about the difference between knowing and embodying something. This sense of real embodied wisdom of, I know that I really need to prioritize my self-care, understanding and meeting my needs, because everything else is based on that. Everything else is built on that. When we really acknowledge that fully and we embrace it fully, then we can start working with tools and practices and techniques that will help us to manage stress and stay grounded and present. Things like mindfulness and meditation, things like somatic practices, checking in with yourself, checking in, what's going on for me right now? What is it that I need? It doesn't have to mean sitting on a cushion for 20 minutes or an hour. It might do, and it's great if you can do it, but it could be as quick and as easy as taking few minutes between your clients, between your meetings, between your sessions, and checking in with yourself. And really tuning in to interoception. So really sensing within your body. Sensing in, what do I need? Or maybe I need to go to the toilet. Maybe I feel really dehydrated. Maybe my back hurts. Maybe I need to move. Maybe that was a really difficult conversation. I need to walk away from the computer, or I need to have 5 minutes break between clients. Maybe I need to go for a walk. But you cannot really meet your needs effectively in the right way for you, for that need, unless you really know what's going on for you first. That means tuning in into your body. That means being curious. That means practicing kindness and self-compassion. That means slowing down in this very busy world. That means really honoring, acknowledging and honoring your needs. That means moving your body, because movement is life. Going for little walks, stretching your body, moving your body, releasing anxiety, cortisol, and adrenaline, or practicing self-soothing. All of those much more body-focused somatic practices are so important to building a healthy, kind, and compassionate relationship with yourself. That's a different approach to the one of trying to squeeze as much as possible, putting a lot of pressure on yourself, very hard deadlines, multitasking, running from one client to another, not having breaks, and being really busy all the time, running on empty. Yes, you can do it for a bit, maybe for a few weeks, maybe for a few months. Some of us are even able to do it maybe for a few years. And certainly I did it when I was working in social care. But ultimately, let me ask you this. Did you start your own business to work like that? Because for me, the answer is a whole body no. I left social care to be able to work in a different way. to be able to embrace my own rhythm, my own pace, to be able to slow down, to be able to take care of myself and my needs a bit better, and then take care of my loved ones, to have a better quality of life. To me, that doesn't, this multitasking and, trying to do everything as fast as possible, that's not what I want to do. And if we talk about, for example, trauma-informed somatic approach, if we only bring that approach into our work with clients, but we do not bring it into how we run our business and how we take care of ourselves, then there is a huge disconnection. And of course, parts of us, inner parts, will remind us about this, like our imposter part will remind us that we're saying to everybody you should slow down and your health is your priority number one, and yet we are not living in that way for ourselves. And yes, it might mean that you will need to have some hard conversations with yourself and with others. So setting boundaries. So many of female business owners that I speak with consciously and unconsciously overgive. They feel the need to overdeliver in both business and personal life. They are not able to say no, even when they are already running on empty. They seem unable to delegate tasks. And that is for at home and in business. They work long hours. They say yes to everybody. They undercharge and overdeliver. There is a need for people pleasing, and then feeling resentful, and then running on empty, and then feeling very anxious. There is a vicious circle that we can create for ourselves in this way. So boundaries is a big thing that I support female practitioners with. And I know that very intimately. It comes from my own personal experience as well. So let me ask you, how are you with your boundaries? Are you setting the boundaries that are clear and healthy within your work or your business and at home? Or maybe that's something you need to pay attention to and change. Are you saying yes when your whole body is communicating no? Are you overworking? Are you overgiving? Are you people pleasing? We cannot change what we are not aware of. When we become aware of something, we can do something with it. We can make different decisions and choices. And raising that awareness, we can do it in many different ways. One of my favorite ones is to do a bit of journaling. That reflection where I put on a piece of paper what's going on in my mind, so I don't have to hold it all in my brain, especially when my brain is already quite tired. My body and mind are tired. Really helps to empty it out through writing, through drawing, through painting, through being creative in different ways. And so all of those things, those somatic practices that I mentioned, mindfulness and meditation, the movement and physical well-being and that creative expression, working with breath, all of those can help us prevent burnout. But what's really important here is that you recognize the early warning signs that your whole being, your body and your mind, your energy levels, your quality of connection, your whole being is communicating to you. Those early warning signs. In those early stages, we can change what we are doing much easier. In those early stages, if you are quite tired, you can rest a bit, you can take a break, you can get support and speak with somebody. You can slow down. It's much easier then to recover than if you already are hitting exhaustion and there is nothing left. So those early signs of burnout, this tiredness and exhaustion, this sense of disconnection and detachment, losing your sense of humor and your joy, cutting out things that are bringing you a sense of connection and joy and pleasure, becoming quite irritable, the impact on the sleep. Those early warning signs are the way that our whole embodied wisdom, that inner knowing, is communicating with us. And it's saying, pay attention. Something is going on. Something is not right. Pay attention. And so really allowing yourself to review how you work on a regular basis, creating more flexible schedules, creating more work-life balance, engaging in support, whether from mentor, coach, or from your colleagues or peers, or from a group, community. This is, for example, what we provide in the program that I run called the Embodied Business Mandala, Mentorship and Mastermind Circle. So many of us talk about how lonely it is to run a business, to make all the decisions, to work on your own maybe for days and not having a team around you, especially in those early times of growing a business where we don't have a time. There is just, I remember that so well. There was just me, and me. And the team meetings were me, and me. Now I have got more support. I remember when I left social care, from being within the structures of working within the social care, or being a manager and managing teams underneath me, but also being in a group with other managers and having a senior manager above me, and then having the whole of the structure. There was always somebody I could turn to for support. I could pick, even when I was working from home, picking up a phone, and there were many people that I could speak to. There was a lot of guidance, a lot of support. And when I left social care to run my yoga and wellness studio, I suddenly was on my own. And yes, I was running it initially with a friend of mine, and I knew other yoga teachers and wellness practitioners around. But it felt more like we were all just trying to work it out on our own. And yes, within the business, everything is an experiment, but you don't know what you don't know. If it feels really hard, if it feels like you're completely on your own, I would really encourage you to seek support. These days, I would not be without having a coach or a mentor and being part of the mastermind group, because I know how hard it is. And if you want to grow the business and stay running your business for years to come, decades to come, that is not optional. That is a necessity. Just like within the social care, you wouldn't have practitioners working completely of their own without the support. That is even more important if you are working with people in distress, with history of trauma, with people wanting to heal, recover, look after their needs. And really, if you're working with people, you always work with some kind of trauma or traumatic experiences or grief or loss or some kind of mental health challenges at some point in their life, because that is our shared human experience. And so really structuring your work, taking time to have regular breaks, scheduling downtime and rest, building support systems is non-negotiable. It really needs to be part of your ongoing strategy and the way that you approach how you work, how you build your business, how you grow. And sometimes we need a little bit more support. So this is why if you're looking for some additional support on our website, anettaeattrack.com, under the free resources, you will find a number of helplines. Contact details for National Suicide Prevention Line or Crisis Line and other services, because sometimes we need that extra support. So I would really encourage you to find that support for yourself if you need it. There are many online therapy platforms like BetterHelp or Talkspace or specialized services that can support you as a female entrepreneur or as simply a human being who needs some support. There are many mental health apps that you can use, like Insight Timer or Calm or Headspace. And many are geared towards women and mental health or mental well-being. And there are many meditations focused on working with your inner parts, working with the imposter, relaxing the body, calming the mind. And they can help when we feel a bit overwhelmed, when we need a bit of space and that guided support. And as I said, finding your community, finding support networks that can really help. Don't do it on your own. You don't have to do it on your own. You can find that support with other women, knowing that we all experience challenges. We all experience good days and bad days. And of course, many of us will not share it on their social media. We will share the nice photos with a wonderful background, smiley faces, thumbs up, but not many of us share the failed launches, tears, sleepless nights, anxiety and worry, feeling low, feeling like you can't go on, questioning whether you can even do it. And this is where having that support can be so helpful. Because running a business can be all-consuming. And it can draw you in It can feel like nothing else exists. But making time for mental self-care is crucial for long-term success. And as I said, if you want to stay in your business, supporting your clients, making impact, positive impact within your community and for your clients, long term, for years and decades to come, you really need to prioritize your own well-being. Your mental health, your physical health, your energy levels. These are non-negotiable. These are the foundations to have a better quality of life, not just the business, but life. So I hope you found this exploration useful. If you like journaling, I would encourage you to grab your journal and just write down what resonated for you. Write down what really stood out for you. What could you implement? What would really make the biggest difference for you? Whether it is to committing to 5 minutes of mindfulness or meditation, or setting clear work boundaries, or reaching out for support, decide on what would help and set the intention to do it. Commit to doing it. Because the world needs female small business owners. It needs coaches. It needs trauma-informed somatic teachers. It needs movement teachers, yoga teachers, wellness practitioners. It needs more of that holistic approach. And it needs women who care deeply, just like you do, to make a positive impact in a way that looks after you as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you found this podcast episode helpful. Take care for now.